Good day. I'm Joseph Noor. I'm a medical doctor and a biochemist, and I'm the author of Document X, Direct Evidence of God's Existence. Now, my subject today is extraterrestrial existence in the Quran. The size of the universe is mind-boggling. It has infinite dimensions. Scientists can calculate the radius of the universe by multiplying the age of the universe, which is 13.8 billion years, with the distance light traveled in that time frame. But the universe has been expanding in the meantime, so it is estimated that the universe is actually much larger. Present estimate is that the universe is 180 billion light years across. If you could travel at the speed of light, which is a staggering 300,000 kilometers per second, which translates into encircling the Earth about more than 7 times in the blink of an eye, it will still take you 180 billion years to cross the universe from one side to the other side. The Earth is the only place that we are certain there is life. But the Earth is a mere speck in this vast cosmic construction. And the fundamental question for scientists, since science began to reveal the enormity of the cosmos, is there life out there? We don't know the answer to this question, but we can speculate intelligently to provide a possible answer to the serious question. It's a question which is serious because it tells us who we are, where do we come from, and what is our position in the universe. The SETI Institute, which is the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, they've set up giant telescopes across the globe, scanning the skies, designed to pick up signals presumably transmitted by advanced alien civilizations. So far, there's been no response. What is the probability of extraterrestrial existence? I think a sensible way is to find out what is needed to get life started. Amongst other things, we need organic material and water. What is exciting is that scientists have detected a large number of organic compounds on comets, meteorites, interstellar space, and other galaxies. The same applies to water. Now, if water and organic material is universal, and we also know that the forces of nature are universal, then it's conceivable that these ingredients, under the influence of the forces of nature, they can, under the right conditions, assemble themselves into more complex molecules. In other words, extraterrestrial existence is a real possibility. The same kind of processes went on the Earth. And this kind of reasoning is supported by the following verse in 1061, where it says, "Not the weight of an atom in the heavens and the earth escape God's knowledge, and neither is there anything smaller." So what this verse tells us is that atoms and subatomic particles are universal entities. If atoms and subatomic particles can exist on alien worlds, then similar forces acting locally, holding them together here, can do likewise on the other side of the universe. Now, at this stage, I would like to distinguish between careful scientific thinking and myth. I'm specifically referring here to UFO sightings. There's no tangible evidence that little green men are visiting our planets. 98% of so-called UFO sightings can be explained in terms of natural atmospheric phenomena, hoaxes, even conspiracy theories. It's that remaining 2% that remains unexplained, and it is experienced by well-balanced individuals, and they are genuinely concerned about these experiences, which range from UFO sightings, being abducted by aliens, and even operated on by aliens. Now, the most likely explanation for this phenomenon is it's probably a genuine hallucination, that part of the brain that distinguishes between what is real and what is not real temporarily malfunctions. So the result is a visual hallucination which is notoriously mistaken for reality. What is interesting is that scientists can stimulate the brain and evoke similar images. What they found is that people who give these accounts of alien abductions and so on, and they are often obsessed with UFO sightings and alien phenomena, that the images that they describe closely resemble those portrayed in television and films. You can draw your own conclusion about that. If we are arguing that extraterrestrial existence is a real possibility, then why haven't we made contact? There may be several reasons for this. There may be a number of alien worlds out there, but fewer of them will harbor primitive life, and even fewer will harbor advanced life. So looking for advanced life in the universe is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Now consider a galaxy which is situated 1,000 light years from our galaxy, and assume that they have been sending electromagnetic signals towards us for the past 1,500 years. Their signals would have reached us 500 years ago, a time when we didn't have the technology to communicate meaningfully over large distances. We would have remained ignorant of each other. They might have grown tired and looked elsewhere. So absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Now we know that life can be tenacious and it can thrive under the most adverse conditions. But it needs certain basic material. It needs organic material, inorganic matter, water, and energy source. In other words, it needs an earthly environment. In 65:12, the Quran states, "We have created multiple cosmic systems, and of the earth a similar number." So, in other words, the Quran is referring here to earth-like worlds, and by implication they are most likely to support life. Now we know that evolution is an important factor in shaping the cause of life. If there's earthly worlds out there with an earthly environment, and given the basic requirements for life on these alien planets, then we can deduce that alien life forms would not be drastically different from our life forms. They would at least share some of their biological features with us. So the Quran is stating a basic principle of unity and design of all living forms. However, we mustn't overestimate our understanding of extraterrestrial existence, because we occupy a small speck of the universe, and it would be naive of us to extrapolate our earthbound condition to the entire universe. Now, the multiplicity of alien systems is also stated in 71:15, which states the following: "Do you not then see that God created multiple solar systems, and has created them in stages, and have set up in each one of them a moon that reflects light and a sun that generates light?" Now, of course, the word solar system or the phrase solar system does not appear in the Quran, but I've deduced it from other Quranic verses as follows. Now, a key Arabic word there is sama. Sama refers to various regions in space, but the Quran always specifies which is the correct meaning based on context. The Quran gives us a basic layout of our solar system, which may be considered to be a typical solar system. It spells out the key features of the main bodies of the solar system: the sun, the moon, the planets, asteroids, and comets. For example, 37 verse 6 states that we have indeed adorned the heavens nearest to the earth with an ornament, the planets. The Quran refers here to space nearest to the earth, in other words, our cosmic neighborhood, within which the planets move. Then it says in 23:17, "We have created multiple pathways of orbit above you," referring to the various celestial bodies which together with the earth rotate around the sun. Now, if you have a slice of space and you have various celestial bodies moving in accordance with strict physical laws as stated in 55 verse 5, then such a setup qualifies as a system. Now, why solar system? Now, the verse quoted earlier, 71:15, tells us that the sun is an essential part of the solar system, and hence my deduction of the heaven as the solar system. Now, these two verses, the one I quoted earlier about the multiple earth and this one about multiple solar systems, consider the prototypical situation of an Earth-like planet with an orbiting moon moving around a star like our sun. Now, it seems likely that the Quran is referring to those systems which are life-friendly, in other words, more likely to support life, because it speaks about Earth-like worlds, a moon, and a sun, not just any star, but a sun. Now, we know that in our solar system there's over 300 moons. Our moon is unique in the sense that it's about 1/5 of the size of the planet Earth. And our moon also played an important role in the origin of life. Then the Quran speaks about a sun, not a star or more than one sun, but a single sun. And the reason is the following: there are different stars, with each set of stars having different masses. Now, massive stars burn up their fuel ferociously, so they have a relatively short lifespan, about a few 100 million years, too short to permit the evolution of advanced life. Our sun is a mediocre star and it burns its fuel at a more leisurely pace. And this gives it a much longer lifespan. It lives for billions of years, long enough to permit the evolution of advanced forms of life. As stated earlier in verse 71:15, it alludes to a single sun. Another reason why this is important concerning the origin of life is that two or more suns generate gravitational effects which are more likely to cause planetary motions to be unstable and hence life improbable. Preparing the reader to identify with the concept of alien existence and why there should be alien life, the Quran proceeds to make the following statement. In chapter 42:29 it says, "And amongst his signs is the origin and evolution of the universe and the many animals that are scattered throughout the universe." The word used by the Quran here is daba, which means creeping and crawling beasts, those moving on their bellies, those moving on two legs, those moving on four legs. So there's a whole community of organisms out there. So an unambiguous statement about the possibility of life elsewhere. Now in chapter 13 verse 15 it says, "All beings in the heavens and the earth submit to God's laws willingly or unwillingly." While the previous verse speaks of creatures in general, this verse refers to a higher being, a being possessing the faculty of discernment as indicated by the phrase willingly or unwillingly. So in the material realm, their bodies are subject to the biological principles prescribed by God, and in the non-physical world, their personality is subject to the law of cause and effect, or the moral law of retribution. Now, although atheists do not submit to God willingly, they are nevertheless, without being aware of it, subject to His will, His law of cause and effect. Then in chapter 21:4, the Quran speaks about speaking beings elsewhere. So in other words, besides making the starting point that life exists elsewhere in other parts of the universe, it also gives us insight into the nature of these beings. They submit to God willingly or unwillingly. In other words, they have a free will. They possess the faculty of speech, the faculty of discernment. And if there's any uncertainty about the existence of alien life, the following verse is reassuring. It says, "He has full cognizance of them all," referring to the countless civilizations and beings on other planets. "And He has numbered them unfailingly." The verse prior to this verse clearly refers to beings elsewhere, and hence my insertion. Now, on a more philosophical note, if we gaze up into the sky, it's a compelling thought that alien beings may be harboring those worlds. Making contact with alien life will be one of the greatest moments in the history of the human species. You can imagine in a far distant future a vast intergalactic network of communications being set up, linking all the galaxies. We will become citizens of the galaxies. We all share a common origin, that we have come from the stars, and we share a common goal, that we have been chosen by the universal consciousness to assist in the evolution of the universe. But this should make us humble and not proud. Now, will contact take place? According to the Quran, a resounding yes. In chapter 3, the Quran says, "Nothing has been created in vain." So if all those unseen worlds are going to remain hidden, then this verse is unfulfilled. But the following verse confirms contact. In chapter 42:29 it says, "He has the power to bring into contact life on this planet and elsewhere." And the Arabic word contact means biocommunication and direct physical contact. Now it's very likely that advanced alien civilizations, if they wish to make contact with us, they would do it first via electromagnetic signals before physically visiting our planet. And since we haven't received any such signals, this verse tends to argue against the fact that UFOs are visiting our skies. So in conclusion, therefore, what does it mean that contact will be made in accordance with God's will? God's will in the Quran doesn't mean His whims and fancies, but refers to His universal plan, His universal program, His divine system. Although contact in the future with alien civilizations depends on human ingenuity and technological development, human ingenuity is but a reflection of the limitless supreme intelligence of the divine being. So in the ultimate sense, therefore, contact will be determined by God's universal plan.